From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, January 15th. Okay, so we're talking snow a little bit. It's going to be pretty widely scattered throughout the afternoon into the evening hours today. A wintry mix could be there at some times involving that snow. There is the possibility of what Stephanie this morning was calling snow squalls, these intense bursts of snow that could make it kind of hard to see outside at some point. So expect maybe some travel interruptions, disruptions as you're out there, maybe some slick roads for your evening commute today. Highs do top out in the upper 30s, though, so that is the good news. As for the rest of the weekend, there's still some snow chances in there for us. A scattered snow shower here and there could play out. Some light accumulations could be in store for some people across central Indiana, mostly above that I-70, north of I-70 line. Skies will be mostly cloudy with highs into the mid to low 30s. Top Democrats in the House and Senate are backing President-elect Joe Biden's stimulus plan. It includes $1,400 in direct payments for most Americans. The money would be in addition to the $600 payments approved by Congress in December. The president-elect is pushing for a moratorium on evictions and foreclosures through September as well, and a $100 a week increase to the federal boost of unemployment, bringing it to $400 per week. As for schools, Biden says he wants kids back in the classroom.
We'll also do everything we can to keep our educators and students safe, to safely reopen a majority of our K-8 schools by the end of the first 100 days.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi issued a joint statement following the announcement, writing, "We will get right to work to turn President-elect Biden's vision into legislation that will pass both chambers and be signed into law." When it comes to the COVID vaccine, Biden says the time to act is now. The CDC's latest prediction shows up to 94,000 new deaths in the United States over the next 3 weeks, unless preventative measures slow that spread. That would be an average of nearly 4,000 deaths a day. Biden says he'll introduce his vaccine distribution plan today, but here's what we know so far. The administration wants to invest $20 billion in a national vaccination program, launching community vaccination centers and mobile units to help in the hard-to-access areas. And this all comes as the death toll in the United States reaches nears 400,000, I should say. The relief plan will make the vaccine free to everyone in the U.S. It also calls for $50 billion to expand testing for COVID-19, purchase those rapid tests, invest in expanding lab capacity, and help schools and local governments implement testing protocols. Biden also expressed confidence that the country would meet his goal of administering 100 million vaccine shots in his first 100 days in office. He says, though, that is not going to be easy.
This will be one of the most challenging operational efforts we have ever undertaken as a nation. We'll have to move heaven and earth to get more people vaccinated, to create more places for them to get vaccinated, to mobilize more medical teams to get shots in people's arms, to increase vaccine supply, and to get it out the door as fast as possible.
Biden criticized the Trump administration's rollout of the vaccine, calling it a dismal failure. Biden's plan would represent the federal government's biggest investment yet in public health efforts to address the pandemic. Of course, it would also have to be approved by Congress, where Democrats now hold a slim majority in the House and Senate. State health leaders are encouraging people to check other counties when making their vaccine appointments. News 8's Timmy Johnson reports if you are willing to travel, there's a chance you could be vaccinated quicker.
Hundreds of thousands of Hoosiers have been vaccinated, while thousands more wait their turn.
We opened on Monday, and next week, already the beginning of the week, I think on Tuesday, we were already 99% booked for next week, and we're already booked for the week after.
Hamilton County Health Department's Emergency Preparedness Coordinator Christian Walker says it's a good problem to have, but he understands the frustration surrounding scheduling.
We are not holding anything back at our hospital, at Riverview here, or any of the hospitals. We're dispensing what we get, and we're creating the appointments accordingly.
Walker says Hamilton County is encouraging people who don't want to wait to check with other counties, but he says that shouldn't be their first option.
You know, if I send everybody down to Marion County, there's people in Marion County that are now not able to get vaccinated.
State leaders say they're working to help clear up some of the scheduling issues. One way is by eventually allowing people in the same household to sign up for their vaccination together. Right now, only one person can do it at a time. Dr. Lindsay Weaver says eventually some of those problems will work themselves out as the state receives more doses.
The demand for vaccine is incredibly high. Please do not get discouraged if the location you're looking at has limited availability today. We are working every day to expand capacity.
Next week, 37 more health clinics will open as vaccination sites across the state.
It's going to take a minute. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we are going to see a large-scale operation just keep continuing to get bigger and bigger.
In Indianapolis, I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Both President Trump and Biden have told state health departments to not hold back in vaccinating. They've promised production will speed up in the coming days. New research from the CDC shows young children might not be spreading COVID-19 as frequently as previously thought. That could have big implications for schools returning to in-person learning. A major CDC study ended with a big conclusion: schools should be the last to close and the first to open. They looked at stats from nearly 2/3 of U.S. schools going back to class. They found 3 million cases in people under the age of 24. Most of those cases were in people 18 to 24, indicating that even though there are millions of little kids mingling at schools, the young adults out of grade school got COVID-19 more often. When someone under 18 did get sick, they were more likely to be a high school student than an elementary student or a child in child care. It's important to note these findings are connected to schools where kids are wearing masks and social distancing. This could have big implications for Indiana schools returning to in-person learning. We have told you that Hamilton Southeastern Schools is the most recent to change their schedule, allowing kindergarten to 6th grade to return 100% in person and 50% for grades 7 to 12. Schools like Brownsburg, for example, have had that structure in place since July. What we didn't get from this study is data on spread to adults in schools, like teachers or other staff members. Regardless, the CDC does conclude that as long as these numbers stay this way, schools should be the first to reopen when they can do so safely. Now to the Pentagon, it is adding extra security to prepare for next week's inauguration. The Department of Defense says it's out of an abundance of caution. There is not a current credible threat to the DoD headquarters, and Vice President Mike Pence is promising a safe inauguration. FEMA briefed him yesterday on upcoming security. Federal law enforcement officials say domestic extremists may strike after seeing the riots at the Capitol. As we have reported, thousands of National Guard members are assigned just in case of some unrest there in Washington. Officials are giving a warning to anyone planning to attempt violence this coming week.
Look at what's happening now to the people who were involved in the Capitol siege, wherever they scattered to, whether it was Memphis, Phoenix, Dallas, Honolulu. What they were finding is we've got FBI agents tracking them down and arresting them. And if I were those people, you don't want to be the ones that have FBI agents knocking on your door at 6 a.m.
The FBI says it has already identified more than 200 suspects in connection to the insurrection. Officials expect hundreds of more in the coming days and weeks. And the head of the FBI does confirm that the agency is working to snuff out threats ahead of the inauguration. FBI Director Chris Wray says agents are seeing extensive online chatter about demonstrations, protests, and possible violence. Wray's comments come during a massive expansion of security in D.C. After the violence at the Capitol. The FBI says it will monitor threats around the clock at its headquarters and all of its 56 field offices. Now to Indiana and Terre Haute. Federal officials executed a drug dealer convicted of killing 7 people in Virginia. Corey Johnson became the 12th person executed since federal executions resumed. A federal judge halted Johnson's execution after the convict tested positive for COVID-19 last month. Another execution is scheduled for today. It is the final one scheduled before President-elect Joe Biden takes office. It is possible at that point he could put an end to the Justice Department's policy of carrying out federal executions. Now to business headlines. Another 965,000 Americans filed new unemployment claims last week. As for Indiana, it had the 14th biggest increase in weekly jobless claims last week. Indiana has seen an 1,100% increase in jobless claims since the pandemic began. The U.S. has lost all of the job gains made since the Great Recession. The Wall Street Journal says some northern state residents are heading to Florida for vaccine tourism. Even overseas tourists are coming. Florida was one of the first to offer the shot to adults age 65 and older. Governor DeSantis says if somebody is wintering in the state, it is fine, but he doesn't discourage that vaccine tourism. Rooster Money, the allowance and chore tracking app, reveals that kids received an impressive $455 in allowance, $8.75 a week last year. And encouragingly, they saved 45% of it. Video games Roblox and Fortnite also dominated the spending charts as kids spent more time at home. Says 66% of parents gave a regular allowance last year. Artificial intelligence could soon be taking over chores. The Bot Handy from Samsung has a single arm and 3 pivot points, allowing enough flexibility to grasp, carry, and position things like delicate dishes. It has cameras that help the AI recognize objects like laundry and handle them accordingly. Okay, back here in Indianapolis, the Chicago-based pizza chain is opening its second Central Indiana carryout and delivery location. The first opened in Carmel in August. The next one's already under construction in a strip mall a half-mile west of 86th and Township Line Road. That location should open in the spring. The chain says it needs to hire 50 people, and the restaurant also says it still plans to open a location this year in Broad Ripple. Disney on Ice is in town. The show called Dream Big is open to a live audience at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. There are COVID-19 protocols if you plan to see it this weekend. There will be pod seating to keep people separated. Face masks are required. Everything inside the venue is touchless, so tickets and paying for merchandise is online. The production company says performers will be following coronavirus guidelines. We posted ticket information online. You can find that at wishtv.com. Just look under the All Indiana News tab. And now to some sports headlines to wrap up the podcast today. The Pacers have won 2 in a row on their West Coast road trip. Pacers beat the Portland Trailblazers last night thanks to a 31-8 run in the first half. Domantas Sabonis led the team with 25 points. Malcolm Brogdon chipped in at 23. The Pacers win 111-87 in their first game without Victor Oladipo. And the Pacers will not play Saturday. The game against the Suns in Phoenix is off. It's because too many Suns players are in quarantine. It's one of several new coronavirus postponements for local teams. The Indy Fuel and IU basketball are also getting unexpected days off. The Fuel's game scheduled for tonight and tomorrow are off because of cases among the opponent, the Wheeling Nailers. Keep your tickets, though. The games are rescheduled for April 2nd and 3rd. The Hoosiers' Sunday matchup against Michigan State is on hold because of coronavirus issues with the Spartans, and the schools are working to reschedule. And the Hoosiers were hoping the Michigan State game might ease the sting of last night's loss to Purdue. The Boilers thumped IU 81-69. Travion Williams led Purdue with 22 points. The win extends Purdue's recent dominance in the twice-a-year in-state rivalry. IU hasn't won since 2016. The Hoosiers' next shot at breaking the streak happens March 6th. They're in West Lafayette. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you back here on Monday.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.